Good morning, everybody. This is Becky here, Aunt Beck's Creations, and this is this week's stitch. This is a stitch that may be out there that somebody else has come up with, but I've kind of created this one myself. So we're going to do a swatch together, and this is what it looks like here. We got to get rid of some of this here. Oh, it's so dark. Why is it so dark? Hold, please. I want you to be able to see this, or it's kind of pointless to do the video, right? That's a little better. So what we're going to do is this stitch here that yours truly has kind of come up with. So the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to tell you what to do as far as working on your project. And you want to, when we're working our actual pattern stitch, you want the right side towards you. So what you need to do is you need to see your right side. So I look for the place that has the baubles, and I have that toward me. And then you'll need to put 2 to 3 rows of flat, plain double crochet. All right. And then we'll work our pattern. And then after we work a row of pattern, we're going to do a row of double crochet. And then we're going to do the pattern again, but we're going to start with the opposite of what we started here. So on the first row of the stitch, we started with a half double crochet. And then the next time we start it, we'll start it with the front post 2 rows below. So let's go ahead and do up a little sample of this. I'm going to move my Afghan out of the way, totally out of the way. And I've got yellow and orange here. I got to get all this yarn out of the way. And I'm going to try to stand and do this, and we're just going to work a swatch together. And I hope that my instruction comes out a little bit better than I feel like I'm doing so far. So anyway, work the 2 to 3 rows of double crochet. You can use either of your colors, and I'm just going to do a swatch. So I'm doing I'm going to do 12 stitches. So I'm just going to do 12 chain stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'm going to add 2. So 12, 13, 14. And then in the third chain from the hook, I'm going to do my double crochets across. So I end up with a chain 2 and 12 double crochets. 1. Let's see if I'm where you can see. Hi, Barb. Starting the whole double crochets to begin with is the tedious part.
It's fiddly.
It's fiddly. But you want 2 rows at least. The reason I say 2 or 3 rows is because you want to make sure the right side is facing you when we start to do the pattern that I've come up with. Bear with me. This part takes me the longest because it's hard for me to work into that chain to begin with. And I know Violet and I talked one time about having the chainless base, and there are videos on how to do that where you're working basically your chain and your base, your first row all at once. Once you get past this first row, it's so much easier. this yarn has split some, so it's even more fiddly. All right, so there's one row of double crochet, and I should have 12 double crochets. So if you count your post, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't count high. Yeah, I said hi to Barb. Don't count the starter chain as a stitch. It's just a stitch to turn you. Okay. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. Go ahead and chain back. Double crochet back across in the tops of your previous row. Go ahead and double crochet through. So there's 2. There's 3, 4. And if you don't want to do 3 complete rows of double crochet, the very first one you could do a single crochet. You just need to get to where, see, we're on the wrong side of our piece now. We're on the back side of it. And remember, when we're doing the pattern that I'm basically going to try to show you guys how to do, because I kind of came up with it when I was making the hats. I just came up with this stitch. So this is brought to you because I'm doing hats for Lizzie. So just work across until you have 12 double crochets. And remember, you're not working into the top of the chain. You're just working into that last double crochet. So now I should have 12 again. And because we're on such a small project, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't count the chain 2. All right. And what I do is I'm going to back in. So I'm just in at the last 2 turn, and I'm going to tie on a different color because I want you to be able to see this is how I change color on these Afghans. I do it at the edge because then I just put the 2 strands together and tie them together. I haven't eaten yet too, so I'm shaking like a leaf, but it's all right. We'll get there. Bear with me. I just put them together and tie a knot. Usually it's not this hard. It's because I'm trying to do it in front of you guys. All right. So now the fun begins. All right. So go ahead and draw up your new color. All right. And I'm just going to leave these hanging. Usually I try to hide them as I go, but because I'm doing a sample, I'm not going to worry about hiding those. I'll get a needle and we'll weave those in a minute. All right. On this row, instead of chaining 2 to turn, you're going to just chain 1, okay? Then turn your work. Now, in your first stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet. So you yoke up and you go into that very first stitch. Sometimes if I get lost, I'll count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to be in this one right there. So it's the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. Do a half double crochet in there. And then you'll yoke and then draw through all of them. All right. Now the next stitch, you're going to yoke. You're not going to go in the next stitch here. You're not going to go on this post. You're going on the post, the row below, the very first double crochet row. So you yoke up, you're going to go around this post right here. See where I am? It might do better if we put some black behind here. Hang on. Whoops. Or something dark. Well, I didn't mean to get 3 pieces out. And I'm going to try to come in closer. And for anybody watching the replay, this is me doing this live. I am not editing a video or anything. All right, so let me see if this will help. That's much better, I think. Maybe if I put it so it's in front of me. I'm getting a little shadow, but it's okay. So you're going to, I've yowed around. I've gone down. I'm around the bottom post here. I'm going to go ahead and yow or draw up and draw it to the height of the first half double crochet and then complete that stitch. All right. Then you're going to half double crochet in the next stitch. So if you look at the top of here, you're going to skip this one and we're going to go into this one because this stitch is the one that was worked around the post and you don't want to put another stitch back there. You'll end up adding stitches. So I'm going to skip that and go in here and do a half double crochet. All right. Then yow and then skip this one and go around this post. Every other one you are doing your long front post or a half double crochet every other one. And if you just turn your work a little bit, you can see the top of the stitch. And then down here, you know to just skip a post. And I find that so much easier just to turn it just a little bit. Half double crochet and elongated front post double crochet. So it almost looks like a little drummer boy's drum. Okay. Another half double crochet and see if I turn it, I know I'm going to skip that one and go into the next one. Okay. Skip, go around this post. And turn it a little bit. We're going to go in this post. So on this row, I'm ending with, let's see here. That's a double crochet. I need to go around this one here and draw it all the way up. And then to verify that I've done right, I'm going to set it down and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I did 12 stitches across. All right. Now what I'm going to do is we have to have the right side facing us to do our pattern stitch. So to get back to this end, I'm going to change back to orange and I'm going to just do a double crochet. So I'm back at this end to come back with the pattern. But when we start the pattern the next time, we're going to do the reverse of how we started on this row. So we will start with an elongated front post. I just snip that and then I'm going to bring my orange back. Although I like to, when I'm doing this, go to the very last move with my yarn so that I'm at where I'm going to add my last stitch. I just wanted to show how I change my yarn out. And then I try to get my knot down here close. I hadn't even finished my whole pattern of how I was doing. So when you're working on the wrong side, pick a color for that way. When you're working on the right side, pick a color for that way. Or if you want to get wild, change your color at each end. Okay, now I'm going to draw up a loop. I'm going to still leave my tails. Remember, now we're going to do a double crochet row. So we need to chain 2. 1, 2. then turn, and do our double crochets back across. So double crochet is a US term. So you're going to yo, insert your hook in your top of your stitch, yo up, draw through two, draw through two. Now with a half double crochet, like we did on the previous row, you would yo, go in here, up, and then to half double crochet, you just pull through all three. But double crochet, you go two, two. That's the difference between a half double crochet and a double crochet. It's just when you're, however many loops you're pulling through at the time. So if somebody else has come up with this stitch out there, I just kind of came across this on my own, working on my hats. And if you do this in the round, you don't have to worry about a return trip. You just keep going around and around, and you don't have to worry about getting back to the end because you're going in a circle. All right. This is the last one I'm going to show you because you're just going to repeat these rows back and forth until you get however many rows you want to do. But this is what I'm adding to my blanket. And these ends are way longer than I normally would do to combine them. I like to try to get the knot as close to the work as I can. Okay. And then I'm going to draw up my new color. All right. So we're on a pattern row. So we're only going to chain one, not two, just chain one and turn. All right. So now, if you look back to our pattern row, we're going to start with the opposite stitch. So on this first row, we started with the half double crochet. So this time when we start this, we're going to do the elongated front post, and you're going to go around the previous half double crochets post. So draw that up. Get it to the height of the row you're working on. You can't work tight when you're doing this. All right, so the next one, we're going to half double crochet. This one's always the one that gets me. Because we did the elongated, we're going to skip there. Give me a minute. And we're going, yeah, there's the stitch that we just worked. So we need to go into this one as a half double crochet. Then we're going to elongate stitch into the previous half double crochet 2 rows below. You go around the post part of it, and you draw up a loop. You can tell when you've got it drawn up enough because the work will lay flat again. If you get it too tight, it will it'll curl this edge of your piece. So then we need to make sure we're skipping that one and we go into this one. So if you guys have any questions or get stuck or anything, just leave me a comment and I will try to get with you on it. Like I said, this is just something I kind of made up on my own, but I'm sure somebody else has probably already done it. And as you work it, everything, it'll go like a zigzag up through, almost like a Charlie Brown sweater. See it down here, it looks better. All right, so we need to do another half double, elongated front post around the previous half double crochet. You know you're on the right path when you're working the opposite stitch of the previous time, so that when you get going, you'll be able to tell exactly where you need to go and what row of stitches, like whether you're starting with a half double crochet or a elongated front post double crochet. And if this is just as clear as mud and you can't get it to do like this, feel free to choose another stitch. That's the beauty of this, is we're just working on these together. So do I have 12 stitches there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope, I need a half double crochet in this one right here. So that's my stitch. I don't know what to call it. I don't know if somebody else has already done it or not, but that is the stitch for today. Feel free to slow me down, speed me up, pause me, whatever. That's the beauty of the replay. And this is just a stitch I came up with. And just always remember, you want your right side of your afghan toward you when you're doing the actual half double crochet elongated front post double crochet. You always want that facing you when you're working those rows, and start each row the opposite of that previous one. And you'll know what that is just by looking. So like that was a half double crochet. So you know you need to start this row with an elongated front post around that previous half double crochet. So I hope that's pretty clear. Let me show you my afghan again. It's getting pretty large and in charge. So let me see. Oh, I got balls of yarn rolling everywhere. But I do want you to see this real quick. And I might grab a hat and show you how I came up with it. And when you're working in the round, you can make it look even more different. So that was our sample we just did together. This is my afghan. And what I ended up doing is I did the 2 rows of double crochet, but then to get myself on the right side of my work, on the row I started my stitches, I just attached a new color at that end instead of on the other end, so that I was on the right side. So either or you can do, but this is what I came up with. And this is what it looks like when you do it on a hat. This one I've still got in the works, but you can see how I came up with it here. And yes, Mary, I ripped this hat out and started over, and that's why I'm off a little bit, but it looks really cool when you do it on a hat. So I hope that you guys don't mind being my guinea pigs to try out a stitch that I kind of came up with on my own. And like I said, I'm sure it's something somebody else has probably already done, but I just like how it looks like little windows. This one's actually looking like Charlie Brown's sweater. So feel free to play around with the stitches. You don't always have to follow a pattern. You can come up with your own things. Don't be afraid to try. I mean, it's just yarn, and what are you going to do? You can just rip it out and start again. So I hope everybody enjoys this week's stitch. I will get back to, sharing other crochet channels. But this week I was just inspired to share a stitch I kind of came up with on my own, and hope you guys are, okay with it. And thanks, Barb. Thanks for being here. I do have my chats in my lives for my subscribers only. So if you wanted to ever participate in a live chat, all you have to do is subscribe. And please, if you get stuck or anything, because this is one I kind of developed myself, give me some feedback, whether you found it easy enough to follow or if I need to work on my technique of sharing a stitch. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, I'm just playing. I've had a lot of fun doing the hats. As soon as I get work through this bag, I'm going to put a box together and send it to Lizzie. She's going to be shocked. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later on. I need to go cook a very late brunch and have fun. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.